Welcome, Darklings. Tonight, I have a story that will crawl under your skin and take root in your thoughts. It's about a garden unlike any other, a botanical wonderland shrouded in secrecy, hidden behind iron gates wrapped in ivy. They call it the Midnight Conservatory, where curiosities bloom and whispers never cease. But beware, for those who enter often don't come out. At least, not the same. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let us begin. Our tale starts with Emma, an ambitious journalist with a taste for the peculiar. Whispers of an enigmatic millionaire, someone known only as Mr. Verdant, had reached her ears. He was said to host clandestine soirees amidst his botanical treasure trove, a greenhouse rumored to house plants unlike any in existence. Some claimed he'd found the secrets of eternal life. Others murmured of sentient roses, flowers that could commemorate your every sin. Emma was no stranger to unlocking hidden worlds. She'd covered paranormal investigations, ancient rituals, even unexplained disappearances. But this whispered legend of the Midnight Conservatory, it consumed her like an itch she could not scratch. Invitations to Mr. Verdant's estate were whispered to be rare as moonlight on a cloudy night. But Emma had ways. A source, a wrinkled former groundskeeper clutching a bottle of brandy and a mind full of regrets, provided her with the key, an invitation card etched with ink that shimmered like liquid silver. The instructions were clear. Midnight, no companions. Follow the ivy trail. With her heart pounding in equal parts excitement and trepidation, Emma arrived at the estate just as the grandfather clock inside the mansion struck 12. The wrought iron gate creaked open as if welcoming her anticipation. A dimly lit path, its cobblestones overrun with tendrils of ivy, led her to the greenhouse. It towered before her, a cathedral of glass framed by midnight shadows. Inside, she found what she hadn't believed possible. The gardens pulsed with an eerie life. There were flowers that glowed like embers, ferns that shimmered an unnatural blue, and the air buzzed faintly with an energy she couldn't quite place. Yet this was no haphazard collection. The plants seemed arranged, alive in ways far removed from chlorophyll and photosynthesis. They leaned as she moved, as though listening. Somewhere above, a riot of vines curled up the glass walls, eclipsing the stars. And there, standing near the centerpiece of this verdant madness, was Mr. Verdant himself. He was a man of indeterminate age, but certain magnetism. He appeared almost sculptural, his features angular, yet softened by a kind of perpetual twilight that seemed to follow him. "Welcome, curious one," he said, his voice low and earthy, like the rumble you feel deep in your chest before a storm. Emma introduced herself and made some comment about the sheer beauty and mystery around her, but Verdant only smirked. "Do you know why I invited you inside, Emma?" he asked, though Emma hadn't told him her name. Emma's bravado flickered. She deflected, asking instead about the origins of the conservatory. Verdant chuckled. "What is origin, if not merely an older story? Surely, in your line of work, you understand that every good story is tended, like a garden, and every garden demands payment." "Payment?" she echoed, a note of unease creeping into her voice. But it was too late. Beyond her peripheral vision, the plants began to stir, not like foliage in the wind, but with purposeful intent. The petals moved as if breathing. The branches reached as though stretching cramped limbs. "And here you are, Emma, ripe with curiosity," Verdant continued, his eyes glinting like wet stones. "Do you feel it yet? The conservatory. It's aware of you now. It listens. It hungers." Emma tried to take a step back, but the air had thickened, cloying and humid, as though the garden itself had drawn closer. Her voice cracked when she asked, "What are you saying?" "I am merely a gardener," Verdant replied. "But you..." He stepped aside, revealing what lay at the greenhouse's heart. A flower larger than any Emma had ever seen, its petals black with streaks of crimson, resembling veins. Something about it felt terribly wrong, as though it wasn't a flower at all, but more profound, more alive. "You've been chosen as tonight's guest," Verdant said. "The earth keeps a ledger, Emma. And beauty like this," he gestured to the looming blossom, "comes at a cost." Emma stumbled, nearly toppling into a bed of nettle-like flowers that hissed at her approach. Her instincts screamed for her to leave, to run, but the gates, she'd seen them latch shut behind her, and now the ivy adorning the glass seemed to shimmer, its tendrils tightening like a noose. Suddenly, her legs gave way, not from panic, but from an inexplicable weariness flooding her. She tried to fight it, clawing at the cobblestone floor, but her limbs were heavy, betraying her. Verdant knelt, his expression calm, almost pitying. "I assure you, it's quite painless. Many wouldn't recognize this as a kindness, but you stepped through the gate. You signed the pact." Amidst her faltering consciousness, Emma's mind latched onto one thought. She would not become this garden's prey. Using the last reserves of her strength, she reached into her pocket, gripping the small lighter she always carried, a relic from her grandfather. Flick. The flame danced, illuminating the immediate area with warm light. The plants recoiled for the briefest moment, as though unfamiliar with fire. With determination fueled by sheer fight-or-flight reflex, Emma crawled toward a nearby patch of dry ferns and held the flame to them. The leaves caught quickly, and soon the fire raged, the greenhouse filled with the sound of Verdant's deep roar, no longer human but guttural, primal. He moved toward her, but she was already running, smoke clouding her vision yet guiding her to the gates. When she burst out and collapsed on the cool grass outside, the fire had begun consuming the midnight conservatory entirely, leaving nothing untouched. She lay there, breathing heavily, as the night went eerily silent. Or so she thought. Just as Emma convinced herself she was safe, a single tendril of ivy brushed her ankle. Smaller than before, but curling, growing, listening. And now you, dear listener, ponder what grows beneath the ivy around your home. Sleep well tonight, if you dare.